Greetings, everyone. Hope all of you are having an absolutely fantastic day. The Last of the Sicorians DLC is finally here, and with that we have the brand new class, Shifter. I know many of you have been excited to hear about the mechanics, so I am happy to add it into our overall class rankings. Before we get into that, let me remind you that if I reference mechanics from another base class that you are unfamiliar with, there is a link in the description to my 25 base class mechanics video that will provide more information. Also, in case you were curious about my thoughts on other classes in the game, there is a link to my list of all 199 classes, subclasses, and prestige classes in Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. Starting at the top, of course, the base class is Shifter. They are masters of the wild, but unlike druids who get their power from the natural world, a shifter focuses within to gain mastery over their forms. The class has a high base attack bonus and is completely unable to cast spells. Its class skills are athletics, mobility, stealth, lore nature, and perception. Shifters come with proficiency in all simple weapons, light armor, medium armor, and shields except for tower shields. To select this class, you must have a neutral alignment. To be clear, that does not mean you have to be true neutral. You can still choose lawful neutral or chaotic neutral, but you cannot, for example, choose chaotic good. Shifters automatically gain Shifter Claws, which allows you as a swift action to use claws on both hands as primary natural weapons that deal 1d4 points of piercing and slashing damage or 1d3 points of damage if you are small. This damage increases until level 13, where you deal 1d10 points of damage or 1d8 if small. These weapons are available both in your natural form and when you use an aspect's major form. While morphed into a major form, you could choose to use the base damage from your claws or the damage from that form's primary natural attacks. At level 17, the critical multiplier for your claws increases to 3, which could potentially be a massive damage boost. At level 3, your claws bypass cold iron, magic, and silver damage resistance. This bypass happens at a much faster rate compared to a class like Monk, whose fists cannot bypass silver until level 7. It also means you can delay or perhaps completely ignore the mythic ability Brutality Incarnate, which makes your natural attacks ignore all damage reduction. The only caveat to this is Shifter Claws are not able to bypass adamantine and flat damage reduction until level 19. In comparison, Monk gets the same DR bypass at level 16, so technically this saves you a mythic ability, but there might be 1 or 2 levels where your attacks are not doing as much damage as they should. If you use dexterity to attack, you might want to consider the new feat Shifter's Edge. If you have weapon finesse and use your dexterity bonus for attack rolls along with the strength bonus for damage rolls, then this feat will add half your shifter level to the damage. You also might want to consider the new feat Raking Claws, which will be available once your base attack bonus hits 8. When dealing piercing or slashing damage with a weapon, your opponent will take 1d6 points of bleed damage at the start of their turn every round. Long term, the damage is minimal, so I wouldn't take this, but it's something to consider. Shifters also automatically gain Shifter Aspect, which lets you, as a swift action, take on the minor form of a creature. Some of these effects are very powerful, such as the Mammoth, which gives you an inherent +6 bonus to strength. The Spider can give you a dodge bonus of up to +6 to AC. Until level 9, you can only have 1 minor form active at a time, but then that number will increase until level 20, when you can have all 5 of your minor forms active at one time. This can be done for a number of minutes per day equal to 3 plus your shifter level. The Extended Aspects feat lets you add your wisdom modifier to the number of minutes per day you can use this ability. At level 4, you get the ability, with the standard action, to take on an aspect's major form a number of times per day equal to your shifter level plus your wisdom modifier. At level 20, you can use both your minor and major aspects at will. This form will last for 1 hour, or if you have the Master Shapeshifter mythic ability, the change will be permanent. Major forms gives you additional natural attacks and abilities, such as the Spider, which gets the very useful Tremor Sense ability, or the Tiger, which gets a Grabber and Pounce ability to use against enemies. Feats that interact with wild shapes, such as Natural Spell, will work for your major forms as well. You also get access to the Shifter's Rush feat, which allows you once per round as a free action to activate your major form when charging or moving more than 10 feet. If you have a base attack bonus of 6 and have a wisdom score of at least 19, you can select the Energized Wild Shape feat, which will provide a small amount of damage and resistance of one energy type. With the same wisdom score but a base attack bonus of 9, you can select Frightful Shape, which, whenever you succeed on an attack, forces enemies within 30 feet to pass a will save. Enemies who fail the save that have fewer HD than you become shaken. They will become frightened if they have equal to or less than 4 HD. Obviously, this feat is significantly cheaper than going the Dreadful Carnage route, so it's something to consider, even though it's not quite as useful. There are 10 different creatures to choose from, and they all have different minor and major mechanics, so I won't review them here, but I will release a video doing a detailed walkthrough of all the different options. Bottom line, the aspect system is great stuff and will undoubtedly make you feel powerful. At level 2, you get Defensive Instinct, which adds your Wisdom modifier to your armor class and combat maneuver defense, as long as you are unarmored, not using a shield, and conscious. If you are wearing non-metal armor, then this bonus is cut in half. This feature also grants a bonus of up to +5 to the Shifter's armor class on top of the Wisdom bonus. You cannot stack this ability with the Monk's Wisdom AC bonus. Obviously, this class is meant for you to be upfront in the thick of things, so the bonus is very helpful, and Wisdom is a useful stat to stack high. At level 2, a Shifter is also able to use their class level as a bonus on lower nature checks. At level 3, Shifters can ignore movement penalties caused by difficult terrain, they are immune to the Entangle condition, and they gain a +2 bonus to AC against attacks of opportunity. Enemies using entanglements or difficult terrain against you is not particularly common, but immunities are always nice to have, and the AC bonus might be useful to beeline towards a soft target. At level 6, you gain Shifter's Fury, which allows you to make a full attack with one natural weapon as opposed to using all of your available natural weapons. This is very powerful because most builds do not have room for you to get weapon focus and improve critical for multiple weapon types. Your major forms get some combination of bite, claw, hoof, and gore attacks, but you won't be competent with all of them. This ability lets you hone in on what you are best at. It's also worth noting that at level 6, you can select the new feat Shifter's Multi-Attack, which lets your secondary attacks from natural weapons take a -2 penalty, as opposed to a -5 penalty. This will help you connect with multiple attacks in one round. Overall, I rank this class an S+. My level 20 character, who uses the Bear Major form, activates 5 minor aspects, and has taken the Master Shapeshifter mythic ability, gets a +14 bonus to strength, +8 to dexterity, +10 to constitution, and +13 to AC. He also automatically receives the Awesome Blow feat, gets a +6 damage bonus to all natural attacks, and his critical multiplier for claw attacks is increased by 1. That's one possible combination out of many different options, and it is absolutely bananas. The major forms are very interesting, and having 5 forms at your disposal so you can switch things up at will makes this class even more appealing. Shifter is insanely powerful, and I think it's hard to argue that it's not an S-level class. The first archetype on the list is Child of the Manticore. You lose access to Shifter Claws along with major and minor forms, but there are direct alternative mechanics that are provided. At level 1, you get Grow Spikes, which allows you to make a natural throwing ranged attack. This attack progresses in damage and damage reduction at the exact same rate as your Shifter Claws would, so you don't technically lose anything. It just allows you to attack from range. You also automatically gain Manticore Aspect, which provides bonuses the way minor forms do as a Shifter. By level 20, you get a +8 inherent bonus to strength and dexterity. Your first attack in each round throws 4 spikes instead of 1, and you can use your minor and major form at will. The bonuses to strength and dexterity are larger than what you can get from Shifter minor forms, and obviously 4 attacks in 1 is incredibly powerful, so this is very nice to have. At level 4, you gain Manticore Shape, which essentially is your major form. By level 20, this form provides a +10 foot speed bonus, the scent ability within 30 feet, 4 natural ranged attacks that do 1d6 damage, immunity to ground-based effects, a +4 bonus on damage rolls with natural attacks, and the improved natural attack ability with your spike attack, which will increase its damage. Obviously, most of that is great stuff. You can use this ability a number of times per day equal to your shifter level plus your wisdom modifier. Unfortunately, that 1 minute duration you see in the tooltip is not a typo. For whatever reason, a shifter's major form lasts 1 hour, whereas the Manticore shape only lasts a minute unless you take the Master Shapeshifter feat. Obviously, that makes this ability significantly less useful until Mythic level 1, which is still 1 to 2 levels away when you pick this up. Overall, I give this class an A+. It lacks a lot of the versatility Shifter provides, but for the playstyle you are obviously meant to use, it's clearly very effective, and being able to transform into a Manticore at will is super cool. Next on the list is Dragonblood Shifter. You lose access to minor and major forms, but they are replaced with an alternative mechanic. At level 1, you get Draconic Aspect Selection, which, as a swift action, lets you select a dragon type, which will provide an elemental resistance and a breath attack that does 1d6 points of elemental damage per shifter level in a 30-foot cone. Enemies can pass a reflex save to take half damage. When you resist damage of the type selected, you will also heal an equal amount of hit points. At level 20, your spell resistance will increase up to 10 plus your shifter level. Your alignment determines what type of dragon you have access to. Is all of this cool? Sure, yeah, it's not terrible. Does it make up for losing a +6 inherent bonus to strength, dexterity, and constitution, along with other minor form bonuses? I don't think it does at all. At level 9, you get Worm Shifter, which is essentially your major form. By level 14, this ability will function like Dragonkind 2, giving you a +6 size bonus to strength, a +4 size bonus to constitution, a +6 form natural armor bonus to AC, immunity to difficult terrain, a breath weapon that does 8d8 points of damage, several natural attacks, and your movement speed is increased by 10 feet. Size bonuses do not stack with what you get from the legendary proportion spell, which all frontline fighters should be using, and therefore those bonuses are significantly less useful than the polymorph bonuses that Shifter provides. At level 20, you become immune to sleep and paralysis effects, and you can shift into a dragon at will. Overall, I give this class a C. You lose some pretty amazing shifter mechanics in exchange for features that aren't terrible, but don't really measure up to what you are letting go of. Next up, we have Feyform Shifter. You lose access to major and minor forms, but again, alternative mechanics are provided. At level 1, you get Fey Aspect, which allows you as a swift action to take on Fey traits. By level 20, you will have a +6 inherent bonus on saving throws against mind-affecting effects, damage resistance 10 against attacks from all sources except for Cold Iron, spell resistance 10 plus your shifter level, and concealment, which provides a 20% miss chance. In addition, as you level up, you'll be able to choose 3 shifter minor forms, and these bonuses will stack on top of what Fey Aspect provides. Obviously, all of this is very nice. You can maintain this form for a number of minutes equal to 3 plus your shifter level. At level 4, you can shift into an Anku, which is essentially this class's major form. By level 20, this form will provide a 20-foot speed bonus, immunity to ground-based effects, several natural attacks, sneak attacks that use your shifter level as your rogue level to determine damage, evasion, and 2 rogue talents. Like Manticore, this ability lasts for 1 minute, but it can become permanent with the Master Shapeshifter mythic ability. Overall, I give this class an S. The form versatility of Shifter is still missed, but getting sneak attacks on a high base attack bonus character who also has permanent concealment is bananas. The spell resistance and resistance to mind affecting effects also obviously doesn't hurt either. Next on the list is Fiendflesh Shifter. Once again, you lose access to major and minor forms, but they are replaced with alternative mechanics. You also lose Defensive Instinct, which definitely makes your character less tanky. In exchange, you get Infernal Claws, which allows your Shifter Claws to automatically bypass the damage reduction of any evil outsiders. As mentioned before, Shifter gets a lot of DR bypass early, but this is still very nice to have, especially at those higher levels where you would usually be waiting for the Adamantine bypass. You You also automatically get Fiendish Aspect, which allows you as a swift action to change it to a form that by level 20 will grant you a gore attack, immunity to ground-based effects, immunity to electricity and fire, a +4 inherent bonus on reflex saving throws, spell resistance 15 plus your shifter level, and damage resistance against attacks from all sources except good. You can maintain this shape for a number of minutes per day, equal to 3 plus your shifter level. Nice stuff, but definitely nowhere near as good as what minor forms from Shifter provides. At level 2, you get Fiendish Resistance, which provides a bonus of up to +5 to AC, along with up to resistance 25 to electricity and fire damage. You should have a character who is constantly providing protection spells against elements, so I think losing the Wisdom bonus to AC is overall a downgrade. At level 9, you get Chimeric Fiend, which will provide additional bonuses to your aspect based on one of 3 abilities you select. By level 14, Daemon will provide a +4 inherent bonus to Constitution, acid resistance, and immunity to disease. Demon will provide a +4 inherent bonus to Strength, cold resistance, and it will increase the damage die of all natural attacks by 1 category. Finally, Devil will provide a +4 inherent bonus to Dexterity, a +4 dodge bonus to AC, a +4 bonus to reflex saving throws, and immunity to blindness. At level 20, you can assume these minor forms at will. Overall, I give this class a B. All of this is solid, but I don't think the mechanics match up well against what major and minor forms from Shifter provide you. The next archetype is Rageshaper. In addition to the neutral alignments you can choose as a shifter, Rageshapers can also select Chaotic Good or Chaotic Evil. You lose access to shifter claws, major and minor forms, but you receive alternative mechanics for all of them. You also lose Defensive Instinct, which again makes you less tanky. At level 1, you get Terrible Slam, which functions exactly the same as Shifter Claws, except your natural weapons are treated as slam attacks, and you get increased damage against constructs. Constructs are not very common in this game, so the extra damage doesn't really help you much, but you are not losing anything either. You also gain Devastating Form, which allows you as a swift action to enter a state similar to a Barbarian's Rage for 1 minute. When in this state, you gain the benefits of Barbarian's Rage, increased by 1 size category, and you get to use a ground slam attack that does 1d6 points of bludgeoning damage per shifter level, plus 1d6 points of bludgeoning damage for every enemy hit by this ability to all enemies within 20 feet, and it knocks them prone. A reflex save halves the damage and negates the prone effect. Obviously, this is an extremely powerful attack, but again, you are limited to only using it once every time you rage. By level 20, this form increases you by 2 size categories. Your rage is treated as Greater Rage, which increases the bonuses you get, and you get a +4 racial bonus to Strength. The damage die of your ground slam attack increases to D10, and you get improved natural attack for your slam attack, which will increase the damage. Once this form ends, you become fatigued for 5 rounds and cannot enter the form during this period. You can use this form a number of times per day, equal to your shifter level, unless you have the Limitless Rage mythic ability, which removes this restriction. At level 2, you get Invulnerable Defenses, which, while in your devastating form, grants a natural armor bonus of up to +4 to AC and a flat damage resistance bonus of 10. This is pretty clearly inferior to what shifters get. Overall, I give this class a B+. Part of that rating is thematic, since this is pretty clearly a perfect option to play as the Hulk. Outside of that, I think the rage components are very limiting compared to your other options. Quick note before we review Wild Effigy: if you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate you hitting the like button. This information lets me know which videos the community is enjoying. If you want to support this kind of content, please consider becoming a member of the channel. I really appreciate all of the support. Last on the list is Wild Effigy. You lose Defensive Instinct and Track, but they are both replaced with alternative mechanics. At level 2, you get Armor Plating, which provides damage resistance in flat, where N is your shifter level. I don't particularly value Lord Nature as a skill, so I think this is a beneficial trade-off, and 20 damage resistance against all weapon sources is nothing to sneeze at. At level 4, you get Heart of Earth, which provides a chance of up to 75% for you to ignore critical hit and precision damage, while also making you immune to bleed effects. Stacking AC is a superior defensive tactic than getting immunity to critical hits and sneak attacks, so I consider this to be a downgrade from what Shifter provides. At level 6, Stone Claw Strike will allow you as a swift action in 1-minute increments to turn your claws into adamantine, allowing them to ignore damage resistance equal to your level. Overall, I rank this class a C because I don't see a reason to take it. The damage resistance and damage resistance bypass is not worth losing the AC bonus or the ability to convert your wisdom bonus into additional AC. That completes my ranking of Shifter and all of its archetypes. To recap, I rank Shifter S+, Child of the Manticore A+, Dragonblood Shifter C, Feyform Shifter S, Fiendflesh Shifter B, Rageshaper B+, and Wild Effigy C. Hope all of you enjoyed this video. Take care.